Americans and their personal finances are at the very top of the list. And, it reflects in a lot of the stories that many of our readers read. Obviously, you can't talk about 2022 and money without talking about inflation. I think that was one of the biggest issues throughout the year. It impacted millions of Americans in so many different ways, whether you're going to the grocery store, whether you're going to get gas. Another key issue that popped up this year was the student loan debt forgiveness plan that President Biden introduced. And there's still that whole process of sorting out whether that is actually going to come to fruition. And also we've seen layoffs as well. Layoffs have permeated throughout multiple businesses. And, again, another area where a lot of people have been impacted. The stories that resonated most with our readers were ones that had direct impact. Gas prices surging, that was a huge thing over the summer, really taking a toll on many Americans' pocketbooks. Americans impacted by layoffs, not just losing their jobs themselves, but then also just that fear of potentially losing their job, and that takes a toll. So, we've really seen Americans focus in on their finances and how a lot of the decisions that we're seeing being made in Washington affects them. Americans are very concerned. And this is where a lot of the worries about recession have come into play because, as layoff fears linger, as inflation lingers, Americans are going to be spending less. And we've also seen the Fed raising interest rates to curb inflation, and it sounds like that's going to continue as well. So it's really just kind of seeing into next year whether the economy does eventually wind up in a recession.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, check out these other videos from USA Today to stay up to date with all the latest news.